Hello everyone, I'm Yoo Ji-hye and welcome to In the Newsroom, where we bring you the behind-the-scenes look on how we deliver the news to you. Now, earlier this week, the verdict was out. Korea has elected its first female president. Saenuri Party's Park Geun-hye clinched her victory over her liberal rival, Moon Jae-in. And our correspondents and reporters were out in the fields covering a wide range of stories from the polling stations and the ballot counting offices and the campaign headquarters as well. I had a chance to talk to some of our reporters for a look back on the very historic day. In the Newsroom begins now. Well, I can't believe it's all over. After months and months of coverage on the mudslinging, the campaign trail, and of course, the election day, the actual election day. It's been a long journey for not only the candidates, but also for ourselves as well, isn't it?
I know, I think the presidential election was the biggest event of the year, so it's all over.
It was, yeah, it's all over. And a historic moment for Korea as well. We have the first female president. And of course, this means not only a great deal for not only the Korean politics, but also for Korean women as well, because we are living in one of the countries that's still struggling with sexism and
very male-dominated.
Oh yeah, extremely. So it's a good sign, I believe.
For sure.
Right, our election coverage began very early in the morning, 6 o'clock, and that's when the poll actually opened. And until very well into the early morning hours of Thursday, which is the day after the election. I think one of the last faces I saw before I left the office was Heo Seung-ha.
Yeah, I went up after 4 a.m. this morning. I went home, got some sleep, and I came back again just a while ago.
Yeah, so, my goodness, around the clock, that is. But let's go and look back on that day in a chronological order. Early in the morning, of course, our Connie was on the scene, bracing the cold. How was it? Tell us.
So we left here around 4 a.m. Just to get a good spot in one of the major polling stations in a major district in Seoul. And I thought we would be one of the first ones there because polling stations open at 6 a.m. And we got there and there were so many other media people, and so we had to basically kind of like push our way into a spot, and even then like it was just crowded the entire day. So half the battle was just fighting with the other media people and just, you know, getting good shots without cameras in the way. But it was exciting, yeah. (5시 반에 글로 가면 되죠, right? 자, 지금 현장 얘기, 여기 장소 중요성.
6시부터 시작인데 아직은 너무 설명도 안 한다고.
야.
얼굴만 조금 때 상대인데. 근데 이거 하면 그래도 안 돌아서.
Jongno is located, I'm actually in an elementary school, which is now turned into this part. It is commonly referred to as
핸드폰으로 해서 보낼 수 있는 것만 빨리빨리 보내고. 그런데 5시 반이요.
So here at this polling station, is it better that I wear my jacket?
예. 이거 좀 앞으로 와요.
투표를 일찍 마치고 다시 일터로 나가야 하는 시민들이나 지금도 걸리는
Now, polling stations here in the polling just 15 minutes ago, so we don't have that many voters here just yet. And that there are a lot of media people here at this time, and I believe.
네, 예. 스탠바이.
Hey guys, yes, I'm coming to you live from a polling station here in Jongno District, also known as the heart of politics here in Korea. Now it's a little before 8 a.m. and we are seeing a lot more voters come in and cast their ballots.
Hello, Connie. How's it looking down there now?
Yes, hi John and Mark. I'm coming live to you from a polling.
Good afternoon, Connie. Are you seeing a late afternoon rush right now?
Hey Kanyang, yes I am actually.
Good afternoon
Hi
to you,
Kanyang,
Connie.
I'm here at a very busy polling station here in the Jongno District of Central Seoul.
Looking back on some of the footage that you took, I mean, there are a long queue of people in the early morning hours. I bet you got to talk to some of them.
Yeah, I talked to a lot of them actually. I was there all day, and so it was very interesting. There were a lot of older citizens there, and it was actually nice to see a lot of voters turn out. And I think this year it was one of the highest voter turnouts ever, you know. And so it was really just nice to see all age groups come out and vote. Even though it was cold and people were waiting up to like 40 minutes outside in line, right? But most of them, you know, no one was really complaining about the cold. They were just very excited to be able to vote.
the busiest time?
The busiest time, I would say, after lunchtime. In the morning, there were, you know, like a trickling of voters here and there. But right after lunchtime, there were huge crowds that would come in.
I imagine it was like the older people probably in the morning and maybe the younger ones come out.
Yeah,
during
you're right.
lunchtime.
Right. And I had some people who were physically unwell. They were either having canes with them or just other people assisting them inside the polling station. So it was actually nice to see just all types of people come in and really take advantage of, you know, or make use of their right to vote.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was a clear indication that younger generation, the older generation, everyone is out to have their voices heard. They were not shy about expressing their political views by coming out and exercising their votes. And I think the voter turnout was one of the most important deciding factors, wasn't it?
Yes, the voter turnout for this year's election was 75.8%. That's almost 12 percentage points higher than the previous election 5 years ago. And before, analysts had said that a voter turnout higher than 70% would give a competitive edge to Moon Jae-in because the younger voters tend to support Moon Jae-in. However, the result was the opposite.
It was.
Yeah, that's because people in the 20s, they did not really go to the polling stations. Report shows that only like 65% of them went to the polling stations, while those in their 50s, more than nearly 90% of them exercised their right to vote. So I think it was the older generations who gave much support to Park Geun-hye, which led her to become the next president. So unlike some experts' expectations, the result was in favor of Park Geun-hye.
Our first female president.
Yeah.
And not only the live coverage, I hear that all of our reporters were assigned the story in advance for a special series that we've been working on for months. What was your story about?
Well, I worked on a lot of different stories with the elections coming up. I did one on gender equality. We talked about, you know, Park Geun-hye being female in a very male-dominated patriarchal society. And I also worked on campaigning methods with SNS.
Oh, I really like that one.
Oh yeah, thanks. So it was really interesting. I was able to go to both camps, Moon Jae-in's camp and Park Geun-hye's camp, and look at their different techniques of how they use social networking services. And similar in some ways, different in other ways. One team had a bigger social networking crew and another team didn't. But yeah, it was very interesting.
How about you, Sun?
Oh, I just prepared what was Park Geun-hye's main campaign pledges, and then Seung-ha kind of helped me with building up a list of things.
Oh,
It was
cooperation. Huh, I see. And you?
I did a story on the presidential system of Korea. Now, Korea's president serves single 5-year term, but it wasn't this case from the beginning. Korea's first president, Lee Seung-man, was elected from the National Assembly, not from the people. And there were some people like President Park Chung-hee who came to power not through an election by a military coup, although he became president through an official election. So I covered those history for our viewers.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You had it all covered. That's great. So let's move on to you, Sung-hee. You were at the Saenuri Party campaign headquarters. It must be hectic there as well. Tell us how it went.
Well, it was my first time to go to the Saenuri Party headquarters because, of course, Ji-yoon is in charge of the Saenuri Party. But then, since voting begins at 6 a.m. and the day will end at around 4 a.m., like Seung-ha said, we thought one person can't cover everything, so I was helping out. But my first on-air appearance was at 12 p.m., but then Ji-yoon told me there would be no seats, so I had to leave. I arrived there at 6 a.m. I left home at 5 a.m. I was there. I was the first reporter to be there, but later on at around 7, the place was full, a lot of media.
대명료보는 문자가 있을 때를 민간에서 아주 난리가 나는 것 같습니다. 항상 차량이 준비되어 있어서 그런 분들에게 이동수단을 제공하게끔 조치가 되어 있습니다. 그리고 또 거기에 더해서 비용 상관과 부담을 하고
Was sent by the main opposition Democratic United Party.
Now, the National Election Commission says Moon's campaign has denied allegations as official campaigning came to an end as of midnight. Now, the national is the middle class, and she said if she is elected, she'll be a leader for the working class. All told. Good afternoon, Ganyang. Well, here at the Saenuri Party's headquarters, the buzz is all about the source of the mass text messages is elected to carry out her plans. Ganyang?
Let's now check out the atmosphere at Park's election camp with Arirang's Hwang Sung-hee at the Saenuri Party headquarters. Sung-hee, can you give us the latest?
Good afternoon, guys. Well, it's rather quiet here at the Saenuri Party headquarters.
Hello, Sung-hee. So how are things looking there?
Good afternoon, Kanyang. Now, here at the Saenuri Party's headquarters, the buzz is all about the alleged violation of election law.
Hello, Sung-hee. So how is it looking like there at Park's camp?
Good afternoon, Kanyang. Well, here at the Saenuri Party's headquarters, the buzz is all about the source of the mass text messages. 또 안에 되게 바빠졌어요. 밑에. 사람들 되게 많아졌어요. 엄청 정신없겠다.
Pack your stuff and go home.
But you're using my computer.
아니에요.
고생해요. 어떡하냐?
I heard that you're working in tandem with Hanul.
Right, Hanul was at the Democratic United Party headquarters, and she was also helping Yeonji out because Yeonji started her shift at 6 p.m. and she was there throughout the day. But yeah,
What did you learn from this experience?
It's not my first time covering politics, but it was very. I had to do updates every hour. It was busy. There was lots of media. I wanted to do well because everyone else, all the reporters were out busy doing their things. So I was working by myself, but at the same time, I was watching our newscast, watching other reporters do. Connie at the voting booth, and Ji-sun was at the National Election Commission. So everyone was doing very well. I was very happy to see that, and also I wanted to be someone who is doing well as well. So yeah,
You seem very calm. See, I couldn't tell that it was so hectic and busy, but I'm sure it was because it was the Saenuri Party's camp. But it's funny because usually you can't tell, and when you're doing live hits,
nervous.
and there are all these people around you, and sometimes you literally get hit by people while you're doing your live shots, but you have to act like
Yeah, nothing's
Yeah.
bothering me.
Right. So the couple of hours after the exit polls were out, at 8:45, which was about 2 or 3 hours after the poll closed, major broadcasters were reporting that it's very likely that Park Geun-hye will win, there were guesses and speculation. But still, the figures were coming in. It was really hectic. Lots of figures from region to region, the age group, and then there's gender. And Archia was keeping track of that. And from then on, it got a bit more hectic, I think, although only 60 to 70% of the votes were being counted. I think Park was faring extremely well, outpacing in most of the regions, except Seoul and I believe Jeolla region. And that's when people are saying, okay, I think we can confirm the fact that Park Geun-hye could be our next leader. Do you remember that period of time? I think you were there in the office as well.
Yes, I was there preparing for my live connect at 2 a.m., the touchscreen thing that Hwang Jae reporter was doing before. And I remember around 11 p.m. last night, it was pretty sure that Park Geun-hye of the Saenuri Party was going to win. And at midnight, she appeared at the Gwanghwamun Square to get to do some interviews with other reporters. Yeah, so by then we knew that Park Geun-hye is going to be our next president and the first female president in Korea. So reporters were doing coverage on Park Geun-hye as well as the first female president. So yeah, that kept some of the reporters busy in the newsroom. Yeah.
그래요?
지금 현관이 안 됐을 때마다 그럼 바로 그냥 개표로 가. 자, 시작할게요.
진주 전화.
자, 내려가야 될 것 같아요. 내려왔어요.
왼발 Park Geun-hye.
To our viewers
거의 도착했어. 거의
in Korea and around the world.
How did you guys prepare all the CGs?
Oh yeah, our CG
graphics,
staff did really a good job because there were 16 districts to cover and they had to make different slides for each of the districts and I'm sure that they had to spend nights to prepare all the slides, so I think they really deserve appreciation. Yeah.
But not only them, but I mean every one of our reporters here in the newsroom as well. It was physically and mentally challenging, well, at least for me, but it felt great that I was taking part in covering one of the historic moments in Korea.
Right.
Yeah, and it's my first year here, and I've already seen the general elections.
Yeah, the first time you came at the office was during the general election.
Yeah, that's
How
right.
did you feel? I mean, you must feel the difference.
It was really different. At that time, I was one of the newbies, so all I did was collect the figures and give it to our seniors. But this time, there was somebody else collecting data for me, and I was doing lives. So yeah, it was very different.
Yeah, back then we didn't trust you. We trust you now. I mean, that's great. I mean, thanks to the excellent work by Ji-yoon at the Saenuri Party, and of course Yeonju was at the DUP, and of course our National Election Commission, there was Jinju, who's been keeping track of the figures there as well. So I think it sailed smoothly without any major hiccups.
Right. It was nice to see, a lot of the reporters out on the scene, especially coming up to the election day. We were all working on different stories and out researching and doing different interviews. And then election day came and we were still out there, pretending like we got plenty of sleep and right?
Exactly. I mean, that's great. I mean, good job, everybody. I'm sure this could be one of our memorable moments here at Arirang, and hopefully we can get some good sleep and rest during the weekend. But this is not over yet. I mean,
This is just the beginning.
Exactly. We've got the year's end to cover, and still a lot of stuff ahead of us. But thank you very much, and good job. Pat ourselves in the back.
A round of applause.
Hi, Mark. Thousands, hundreds, in fact, of journalists and media personnel have filled every seat here at the DUP headquarters in Seoul.
Fiercest battlegrounds in this election.
Before heading to Busan, where he will be casting his vote Wednesday, Moon visited some of the busiest transport hubs in Seoul.